I am back, everybody. This is part 2 of my video. I don't have the title for it yet, but I was in the car, doing my vlog, and today's Halloween, so you're going to hear possibly the doorbell ringing, possibly loud dogs barking, because we have 2 dogs. One is a hound dog. So people that have hound dogs or know what a hound dog sound like, you might know what it sounds like by the end of this video. So yeah, I decided to do a video on Halloween day. I was recording on my phone when I was driving in the car. I just felt the need to do a video, so I decided to continue the video in a more appropriate setting, which is in my home rather than me driving, because as you watch in the video, I was having problems talking, and I have ADD. I have like, I don't even want to say I have ADD, but I think a lot. So in the midst of me communicating it out, I'm thinking of something. I'm always ahead of myself before I'm actually speaking or finish articulating what I'm trying to say. Yeah. So I guess I'll continue off or start on the second video because it's more of a rant than anything. It doesn't really have a focal point, but if you're watching, thank you for watching, and I would love to hear you guys' feedback on these types of videos. Now, in the first video, I talked about the difference between, of course, you should know spiral and then linear. So I want to say, like, life is more, we perceive life as this. This is our life. This is the timeline. This is how we perceive life, and we are told to perceive life in time. I'm not going to go in this video about time or the concept or theory of time, but I will say that, let me see if I can draw this out. Okay. This is the way life really works, and this is how we perceive life. So I'm hoping, you guys get to see that. I call this the spiral dynamics. I don't even want to call it theory. But this is the linear theory of life, and this is how we perceive life, and this is really how life goes. As I mentioned in my first video talking about people to go out and see the movie that just came out called Cloud Atlas. It's a wonderful, fantastic movie that you can get a lot of metaphysical and spiritual messages in that movie. But this video is not to really get in details of that, but if you're on the same page with me, or you understand some of the things I'm discussing within my video, which is kind of all over the place. I don't really have, once again, a focal point of this video. It's just to really talk out the things, my truth, my knowledge of certain things that I've learned. And reason I drew these 2 different perspectives of time, space, and life is because ultimately there's another way of drawing me. My sister was talking about this last night. I'm sorry. This is how life goes, and I want to say between each, I will draw a line in the middle of this. Don't think that this, I'm not the best of artists, but don't think that this line, this is an imaginary line, like the equator in this. And each part in this line is the core of you. So we go through life and we experience certain things, and we kind of collect what others, we kind of live our life according to other people interpretations, experiences, facts, truth, and we kind of live our life according to previous people. So we kind of skate in a thing that I mentioned also. I call kind of skates and eights, or skate in a circle, where you're just circling around the same primary issue. And in my first video, I didn't mean to sit here and say mistakes, because you know, part of me feels like there's no such thing as mistake, but I use that word meaning like we do the same thing and expect different results. And that's where I also mentioned about hell and insanity. And I shouldn't be backtracking myself from the other first video, because I'm probably confusing viewers now. But we go through life, and this is, okay, let me just talk first before I try to get in pictures, because I'm not the best of artists. My sister's more on that tip of explaining things, drawing. But we go through life, I want to say, you know, doing what we're told. We're used to going to school, going to institutions, you know, whether it's through churches, whether it's through public schools, colleges, and, you know, all these different things to learn how to survive in the current world today. And subconsciously, that is teaching us to, it's like taking away part of us from the core of ourselves. So that's why I draw these circling loops, because at first we come out and we just go through this loop. We go through this loop of cycle of repeating what other spirits that came before us, or even us that returned, you know, back into this realm, and repeating the same scenarios playing out that has happened previously, and doing the exact same thing. And I'm going to use the word mistakes, but I want to say we make the same decisions or mistakes, basically leading us into a circle. And you know, yeah, we expect different results. So then eventually, once we go around that circle a few times, where we're saying, oh, I need to, in order for me to get different results in this lifetime, this certain situation, this point of time, I need to, you know, jump out or listen to that inner voice that we have in us and make a different decision. So then we go out that circle, out that loop, and we come back up. We go to the core of ourselves, and we somehow ascend a little bit up, and then we go and we have a different, more expanded understanding of life, or of that particular situation or topic, and then we somehow are still tied. Once again, you're gonna hear dogs and, you know, ringing. I'm not sure if it's picking it up. But then we go through, we go to the center of ourselves. We listen to that inner voice, which is the God consciousness within all of us, and then we ascend up a little bit more. But some people get to the point where they're just still down here. I'm gonna just go like this. They're just still down here, just circling until they get to the point where, like, all right, well, I'm going to ascend up. So the whole 2012 thing, you know, a lot of people believe, you know, these apocalyptic type of Armageddon type of stories. You know, fear is the energy or emotions people are getting from that whole 2012 thing is like fear. And the last thing you want is to be living your life in fear. And when I use the word entities, you know, means energy, you know, so energy and vibrations. And, you know, when you live your life in fear, you lower your vibrations, and you can attract entities, energy that are on that, I want to say, thrive. They're like vampires. They live off of that vibration. Give me 1 second. Huh?
I said Wonder Woman and Batman are coming.
Okay, I'm doing a YouTube video, so. Sorry about that. they live off of low vibration energy. And to lower, one way that people like to do is like to install fear within people. That's how war is started. That's how crimes are justified. That's how killing is justified. That's how a lot of things that are negative is justified based off of the frequency and energy of fear. Um, so this whole 2012 thing has caused a lot of people, caused a lot of fear-driven energy, um, to help control people's mindset, and also to have other people dismiss, to even really look in, as far as people dismissing the curiosity and the truth that that is to offer in the whole 2012 thing. And I once told you in my first video about truth. Truth is, no man on earth has the whole entire truth, or everybody has a fragment of truth, but we have access to full truth. But we also have subjective views that limit truth. So it's like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, everything has a degree of truth. Everything has a degree of truth. Even in a lie, it has a certain degree of truth. But a lot of people, a lot of movies, a lot of, I don't even know why people even still rely on media to get their information on the world, or just to get their information to validate things. And why do they still believe that whatever the government says, if it's good for you, if it's approved by the FDA, it's justified as being okay and healthy for you, when ultimately every government entity, it's all a business and corporation, meaning that they're there to make profit off of it and to continue to thrive and stay in their ruling off of power hungry mongers. So they're not worried about the true essence. They'll put out the illusion like they're more concerned with the betterment of the people, but it's just all a psychological game that people just kind of get lost into. But that is a whole nother topic. But based off of 2012, so this is how the all, the being, the God consciousness is ascending, and this is the motion that we are traveling in. And this is a spiral motion. And like I said, each time you finally decide to stop looping around in the same issue, simulation, or concept, 2012 is a time where we are, the planet wants to graduate up or ascend up into and expand, because we are a connection to everything in the multi-universe, or even beyond that. We are connected. Everything's connected. So Earth is, a lot of people don't believe that there's other entities or beings out there in different planets or space, or out there. Some people do, and I'm hoping that I'm talking to some people that do, and I'm hoping I'm talking to the closed-minded, or that still has a cracked window open to really gain at least some type of information on things. But there's so much to gain, and even if it's not from me, you don't understand from me, I mean, there's so much to gain. Just be open-minded, and please go in with inside and ask God to help you, because there's so much, and people just limit themselves to one doctrines, one belief, and it's just so much more. It's just so much more. But more off topic. I rant when I talk. I'm not really a lecturer type of person, but yeah. So this is the circle, and you finally say, okay, I'm going to change my routine decisions that I've been making that made me go like this. I'm gonna come out and come to the core, and it makes you branch out and ascend, and then you have a higher looping that you do. And when I say looping, meaning like you're going to start to see yourself and people. The more you expand, the more you start to look around you and experience things, and you're going to start to see and understand more of yourself, and you're going to understand that everybody around you is a reflection of you. So you're not going to be so caught up into reacting, off of your emotions, and just identify yourself with that emotions. You're going to be able to understand beyond, bigger than the emotions, bigger than your personal belief. So once you go, so that's what the 2012 thing is about. It's about ascending up, and when you ascend, this is a pattern that we ascend in. What I can use for an example is my personal experience. I'm going to pick one particular experience that I can use to help understand this better. I can say that with my, I'm putting my personal business out here, and I'm not going to give any great details, but with my personal relationship that I was in, my first relationship that I was actually in, we ended not on the best of terms, and I didn't have the good understanding of myself or how to handle situations that I was in. So during the breakup, I it was a lot of things we said to each other that was pretty mean, and instead of me actually processing it fully, I just was reacting back and lashing out my emotions rather than truly processing or even truly understanding what it is that I was experiencing. But it hurt so much that I just kind of attacked back and put my defenses up. And then I go on and I go through that relationship, or I ended that relationship. I don't even want to say I ended it. The relationship ended, yet I still carried the emotional, I still carried everything, the bags of that issue from that experiences with me. I didn't process it completely. So then to distract myself, I went like this. I went in a circle, and then I in my head, I'm thinking I'm moving linear, going to the next thing, but instead I'm actually going like this. So I date a few people, or mess around, whatever you call it, and then I jump into another relationship, still blind, like still not fully forgiving myself, forgiving the person, forgiving, you still not really, still carrying the bitterness, the anger, and then I'm attracting another person that is just as damaged spiritually, emotionally, whatever, as I am. And then I don't even know if I can draw this, I'll just talk. So I attracted another person, but at this time it just seemed like roses at first, because at first you're just blinded and you want to escape from self or your inner issues. You jump into another thing, whether it's going to a new job, furthering your education. Like, people do so many different things to run away. They run away from their self. It's kind of like, here's the center of them, and they just do this big old loop. They're running away and going out, and the further you go out from the core of you, the more extreme or lost, or the more your ego, I'm gonna call that part that's not the core of you, it's the ego, and you build this false character of yourself. That's a whole other thing. But back to the relationship. I jump into another relationship. First things seem like roses and peaches and whatever you want to say. And then, you get into that relationship. And then, of course, once people get comfortable into the relationship, things start to unfold. And, a lot of things came up to the table. Been through a lot of things, and I'm not going into great details because I'm not trying to bash the person. I'm not trying to do none of that, but we were going through a lot of difficulties, and I've been through a lot of hurt and pain within those relationships, but not knowing that I'm attracting it, and I'm not knowing that I'm carrying a bag of issues and bringing it onto the next, but burying it under, you know, this new person, and, you know, the fact that years went past, or what, you know, time went past, but I still never dealt with those issues. I still never forgave that person, and now I've attracted my monster that I've hidden, you know, that I never dealt with, that created into a monster. Now that I'm thinking that this person in relationship with, you know, when it starts to become into a physical manifestation in this new person, I'm, you know, thinking that they're my enemy, when I never fully emotionally handled that, if you get what I'm trying to say. Like, so it's like you attract the person that is a reflection of you, and once you get to a certain point, you start to realize, like, and I wasn't even, when I attracted the second person, I wasn't even fully, I was still emotionally tied to the first person. I was still longing to be back with the first person, despite the abuse, despite, you know, the chaos. But I guess a part of me was addicted to the chaos, and I've attracted new chaos, but yet I'm still tied to that one. But because, you know, that person broke my heart, I jumped into another thing, trying to get, you know, the whole tit for tat, trying to get back, or trying to occupy my time, or to prove that I moved on. And knowing that I didn't fully, you know, heal emotionally, spiritually, on all different physical levels, all the different emotional, spiritual, and physical level, I wasn't completely stable with what just happened to me, you know. And instead, I'm like trying to go into the emotions of moving my life forward, when I just need to sometimes be still and truly listen to my inner self and learn how to forgive and heal. And that's what a lot of us do in life, and it somehow we're going in a circle, but thinking that we're moving, you know, we're taking a step forward in the illusion of our minds because of time and whatever, but actually we're just surrounding ourselves with same issues, same types of people. Might be a different name, a new face, a new job, same problems, you know what I mean? It's because you have to deal with yourself, and we run from ourselves thinking that we can jump into a new physical situation, or being a physical presence of a new person, and thinking that that resolves me from, you know, escaping from the past issues or things. But it all starts with our inner selves. So I'm hoping that I explained that to my best ability. I probably even talked in circles. But then, you know, once you go to you should start to expand. So once you know, you come into the inner self and you learn these things, you go back out. I don't want to say you go back out of yourself, but you go and you start to experience, you start to see the same situations you were in, but just from a different, it's kind of like, you know, when I'm standing right here, I'm looking at the ground, right? And from me, the closer I am, the smaller part I can see. But the more I come up, the more I can see. The more I come up, the more I can see. You get what I'm saying? That's kind of how life goes. It's kind of like, all right, at first I can only see this one little dot. I can only see through this little circumference, this little telescope narrow view of life. And then, you know, I go to the core of me, and then, oh, it's a little bit bigger. I go to the core of me, oh, it's a little bit bigger. So you start to understand things, and you start to not be so caught up in the certain issues that arise, because it's like humbling. It's humbling you, but it's expanding your consciousness and your understanding of self. So therefore, like I said, if you understand self, you understand what's outside of you is a reflection of you, but it's not you. That makes any sense? I'm hoping that makes any sense. So that's how it was with relationships for me. And you know, then I just, you know, I told you guys in a rant video or whatever video that I just got out of a relationship, And within that relationship, I seen patterns of the old me, but within them. So I was able to not, part of me was reacting through things went, but I seen the same patterns happen with the previous person, but it was something that I once did, but I'm seeing it being done to me, but I wasn't reacting. I didn't react. I didn't lash out in hate. I didn't, I didn't go and do no tit for tat type of thing. And that's the beauty of free will. You have the choice to do that. But because I've recognized